Hello everyone, welcome back to ConceptsEra. Today we are going to discuss another caselet based upon games and tournaments. So let's see how we can approach this particular caselet, whatever learnings we have till now. So first of all, I request you try out this particular caselet on your own, then we will have a proper discussion over this particular caselet. So let's get started and try to understand what exactly given to us in this caselet and how we can approach this caselet. 5 teams belonging to 5 different countries took part in a football tournament. So 5 teams took part in a particular tournament. Further, each team played against each other team exactly once. So ultimately only one match is happening between 2 teams. Exactly 2 of the matches resulted in draw. So we can write down 2 matches or draw here. No team had more than 1 draw. Further, they are saying the number of goals scored by each team in a match at least 1 and at most 4. So goals minimum is equal to 1 and goals maximum is equal to 4. This one is also given to us. And finally they are saying for win we have 3 points, for draw we have 1 point, and for loss there is a no point. So these are the few points which are given to us in 4 and 5 lines in the beginning. And below that there one table is given to us, and ultimately we have to fill this particular table and we have to answer the questions. But if you see the questions here, questions are actually based upon goal difference, goals scored, as well as they're looking for goal difference. So out of 4 questions, 3 questions are actually based upon goal. So ultimately we have to look for goal line of particular matches. And as we know, each team is playing with another team exactly once, and there are 5 teams are there. So number of matches which gonna happen will be 5C2, which is equal to 10 here. Or you can calculate in different way also. You can see one match between Australia and South Africa, Australia and Brazil, Australia and France, Australia and China. You can write down. Other one, South Africa, Brazil, South Africa, France, South Africa, China. Finally, we can say look for the Brazil also. Brazil, France, Brazil, China, and finally France and China. So these are the 10 matches which actually gonna happen here. So let's put the given data in much better manner and try to solve this particular caselet. So here we are having data in which I wrote here 2 draws, max 1 draw per team, goal at most 4 and minimum 1. And for win we are having 3 points, for draw we are having 1 point, and for loss there is a no point. Now try to fill this particular table first. As we know, in any football match, if goal for is happening, it is definitely goal against some team. So number of goals for should be equal to number of goals against. So if we see here goals for, 11 plus 8 plus 10 plus 11 plus 11 is equal to 51. So this summation is 51 here. It means goals against should be 51 here. So only this data is left out. So this data can be calculated very easily while subtracting these numbers from 51. And if we do so, this will be equal to 13 here. So we got to know number of goals against France is equal to 13. Further, if you see, Australia scored total 10 points. For win we have 3 points, for loss we have 0 point, and for draw we have 1 point. So how can Australia will get 10 points? It is only possible when 3 win, 1 draw and 0 loss. Further, if we see South Africa, points is equal to 4 here. So total points are 4. How South Africa can get 4 points here? So when we're looking for points for South Africa here, we know every team is playing 4 matches. And South Africa got 4 points in 4 matches. It is only possible when 1 win, 1 draw and remaining losses. So 1 win, 1 draw and remaining losses. Further we can see China here got 3 points in 4 matches. So 3 points in 4 matches is only possible when 1 win is there and remaining are losses. So definitely we can say China 1 win, 0 draw and remaining are definitely a loss. So we can say number of losses will be 3 here. So now half table will be almost filled. Now we will read the information and we'll use the whatever information is given here it will be more than enough to get the answer. They are saying 2 draws are there. 1 draw we can definitely say it's happening between either Australia, Brazil, Australia, France, Australia, South Africa, that we do not know. But what we can conclude from here, with China, there is a no draw. Now further you read and you can decode everything here. They are saying, further it is also known that China won against South Africa and goal difference in the match was 3. Now we know maximum possible goals for or against will be 4 and minimum possible will be 1. So when goal difference is given to us 3, the meaning of this difference between goals for and goals against. So maximum possible difference which we can get here, maximum possible goals and minimum possible goal. So this one is 3 comes out to be, so we know which team is scored 4 goals and which team is scored 1 goal. Because we can see China won against South Africa. So definitely China has scored 4 goals and South Africa has scored 1 goal. So South Africa 1 goal here and China 4 goals here. Let's read further. In the match between Brazil and Australia, the total number of goals scored was 4. It means goal against in this match and goals for in this match, summation of this is equal to 4. And goal difference is 0. Goal difference 0 is only possible when it is a draw. It means total number of goals scored by Brazil and Australia are equal to each other. And we know total goals are 4. It means each team is scoring 2 goals here. So this result will be 2-2. So we understood from here, draw is happening between Brazil and Australia. So there is a 1 draw definitely for sure. And we know total number of draws is equal to 2. So other draw will definitely happen between South Africa and France. Because for China there is no draw. So other draw is happening between South Africa and France. So here we can also fix 1. After doing this, let's read the last line of this caselet. South Africa scored 3 goals against France. As we know, draw is happening between South Africa and France. So if South Africa is scoring 3 goals against France, it means France will also score 3 goals against South Africa. So France and South Africa match will be draw and goal line will be 3-3. Now, if you really want to understand how to approach this particular caselet from here onwards, you should be knowing what goal lines are left out here. So if we look for goal line for Australia is 11-6, goal line for Brazil 10-10, goal line for South Africa 8-11 and goal line for China 11-11. When Australia and Brazil is done with 2-2, we can say goal line which is left out here is 9-4. Further, South Africa and France done with 3-3. When South Africa and France done with 3-3 here, goal line which is left out here 5-8. China is done with 4-1 because China won here. So 4-1. So 4-1 goal line China is done with. Then definitely China is left out here 7-10. And similarly we can write down goal line for Brazil also because of Australia match. It is given to us 8-8 because 2-2 is done here. And finally France which is left out here because of South Africa, we can write down France also. France goal line which is left out here will be 8-10. Further if you see, it is given to us 2 teams scored 4 goals against China. One match of China is already over against South Africa, and in other 2 matches other team is scored 4 goals against China. So 4 is here against China and 4 is here. Total number of goals left out is given to us 10. So only 2 is left out here. As we know from the given information, China lost remaining matches. So definitely if China is losing this match, in this match goals scored by China should be 1 because the minimum goals should be equal to 1. Now out of 7, now we left with only 6. When we left with 6 and both the matches are lost. So 6 we left with, the only possible cases here 3 and 3. We cannot take less than 3 because if I take less than 3, then other goals will be 4 and it will be draw in that case. So we cannot take it. So it has to be 3 and 3. Now we have to look into which match goal line is 3-4 and which match goal line is 1-2. So if I look at Australia and China here, in Australia and China, if I say this goal line is 4-3 because Australia won this match and China lost this match. So in this case, we can write down here 4-3 and in goal line which is left out here will be 5-1, which is not possible because for Australia 2 matches are left out and goal against is given to us 1. As we know, for 2 matches, if we need to maintain minimum goals 1, in that case, this case is not possible. So we can remove this from here. So 4-3 goal line is not possible for Australia and China. So what we left with? Only one goal line we left with, and that goal line was 2-1. Once we did this particular goal line is 2-1, remaining 2 goal lines we can immediately fix here because China is playing against Brazil and France. So this goal line has to be 4-3 and 4-3. Now after writing this, we can definitely change our goal line. Because of Australia-China match, goal line was 2-1 here. So left out goal line will be 7-3. And because of Brazil and China match, goal line was 4-3. So left out goal line will be 4-5. Now because of France and China match, goal line 4-3. So left out part is 4-7 here. Now almost we have filled this particular table. So now all the matches are over for China and only one goal line which we did not write, which is South Africa and China. So let's write down this particular goal line, which is 1-4 here. So goal line left out for South Africa will be 4-4. Now goal line for South Africa is 4-4 and South Africa won 1 match, 1 draw and 1 lost here. So we can fix from here, there is a draw, there is a loss, but there is no win. So in the goal line of 4-4, there has to be 1 win and 1 loss. And if you look at Australia here, Australia draw is done and 1 win is done. So what is left for Australia? 2 wins are left out for Australia. So how Australia can win this remaining 2 wins? So if you look at here, one case is possible for Australia to win this will be 4-2 and 3-1. That's a one way of winning for Australia. Other way Australia can win will be 4-1 and 3-2. Except this no other way is possible for Australia. Australia cannot win with 2-1. Because if Australia is winning with 2-1 here, then left out goal line will be 5-2 and 5 goals are not possible because maximum number of goals given to us 4. So only possible cases for Australia are 4-2, 3-1 and 4-1, 3-2. Similarly, if you look for South Africa, because of 1 win and because of 1 loss, we can say from here for South Africa the cases which we are having here are 1-3 is loss for South Africa and 3-1 is win for South Africa, or 2-3 is loss for South Africa and 2-1 is win for South Africa. Except this other goal line is not possible for South Africa because if I change here in terms of loss, so if I say loss for South Africa is 1-2, in that case we have to look match between South Africa and Australia. Australia cannot defeat with a goal line of 1-2. So definitely we can say this goal line is not possible. So only goal line we left for South Africa is 1-3, 3-1 and 2-3, 2-1. Even though there are 2 cases, but number of goals against South Africa is fixed and it is given to us 3 when South Africa is going to face Australia. So 2 goal lines are possible here, either 3-2 or 3-1. Once you fix this, if 3-2 goal line is happening between South Africa and Australia, then 4-1 goal line will happen between Australia and France. And when 3-1 goal line is happening between Australia and South Africa, then 4-2 goal line will happen between Australia and France, and we are not sure about it, which one is supposed to be correct. But remaining things will help us to fill this data very easily. Because what match is left out here is between South Africa and Brazil. So if I take South Africa goal line was here 3-2. If I take this, then the goal line which we left with here 2-1. It means South Africa supposed to win against Brazil with a goal line of 2-1. And now if we put 2-1 goal line here, then left goal line will be 3-3, and which is not possible. Because it is clearly given to us there are only 2 draws. So whatever goal lines we took here, 3-2 between Australia and South Africa and 4-1 between Australia and France, these goal lines are not possible. So we can remove this, because if I take this particular goal lines, in that case there will be draw for Brazil in the left out match. So what goal line we left with? 3-1 and 4-2. So if goal line between South Africa and Australia is 3-1, then goal line between Australia and France has to be 4-2. And once you fix this, you can also fix here, this goal line is not possible, so we can remove here. So left out match for South Africa has to be 3-1. So 3-1 win is happening here between South Africa and Brazil. And now if you look at Brazil and France match, we can directly write down after seeing goal line of Brazil here, because Brazil here coming out to be 1-3. So what goal line is left out here? 3-2. So 3-2 we can fix here. Now these are the goal lines, and now we have completed this particular case state. Let's go back and try out questions related to this. So if you see the first question here, what is the goal difference in the match between Australia and France? So if you look at Australia and France here, goal difference is given to us 2. So right answer for this particular question is 2. So second question is here, what was the total number of points scored by Brazil against Australia and France? Here we are looking for points scored by Brazil against Australia and France. So this is an Australia match, and this one is a France match. So here 3 points, and here 1 point because of draw and because of win. So we can fix here, this comes out to be 4 points. So correct answer for this question will be 4 here. Second last one, what was the total number of goals scored by France against Australia and Brazil? France, if you see, against Australia 2 goals, and against Brazil also 2 goals. So number of goals scored by France against Australia and Brazil will be equal to 4 here. So correct answer for this question will be 4. And the last question here, in the match between Australia and France, the goal difference and the number of goals scored by Australia were. So we are looking for match between Australia and France here. So here we can say this is goal line 4-2. 4-2 goal line is given to us. So we can see goal difference is 2 and goals scored by Australia will be 4 here. So you can see this case state was not that easy, but if you're following a systematic approach and looking for all the possible cases and putting in much better manner, you can definitely solve this particular case state also. So I hope I added some value for your preparation. Thank you so much for watching this, and all the best for your exam.